process.
Thank you very much. So wonderful to hear those stories. I think that was really empowering. So now I'd like to hand over to Meera Sharma, who's going to be talking about the changing landscape, which includes voice and difference. Over to you, Meera. You're on mute at the moment.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to talk about change and the voice and making a difference. What we wanted to sort of capture through this journey as well, what we wanted to capture through this journey as well was that there is work that has been done in the forum where we have had several individuals from several stakeholders who have tried to instigate change. And what we've tried to do here is to get that together and to capture that there has been a voice from many that we've tried to capture. And there's several people, several individuals, several stakeholders who have been trying to make a difference. Right. Before we move forward, I think we need to sort of thank our students who have been in a vulnerable position and have shared their stories. We met with several students, some of the current ones who were not. There were some who were able to come today, and some who weren't able to come today, but they were able to share their just certain key experiences, what their barriers were, and what got them to do the course they are doing, and why did they choose that particular profession within allied health profession. There were key themes that did come out through our discussions. They are informal sort of discussions that we had. It was a space that they felt comfortable to discuss their feelings, their experiences with us as the researchers on board. There were key elements that have been brought up through the scoping review presented by Anita, and we've just touched the surface so far to give you an insight that the work we are doing is collaborative work. It's work that we're doing together with the students, and it's a voice that we are hearing. And this will feed into several elements of our research as we go forward. So the key areas that we sort of picked up are sort of captured in this. We didn't want to share too much of it because it goes through in several stages, but you can see through certain codes that we picked up that pride is a key thing that came up, was that if they choose a profession, they want to be successful in it. They want recognition in it. They want recognition from their family. One of the other elements that we picked up from our discussion today was family was important through their journey, through their choice. So it wasn't just what they wanted. There was a bigger picture than that. What there was another element that came out from our discussions in our chat, from our discussions with the students, a role model, the role model visibility as well. That was also in there. Another element that also came about was culture. There was that culture difference of how a student sort of selects their course, selects their direction of their career as well, and how do we measure that? There were barriers. There was barriers such as money. There was barriers such as location of what they were going to choose there, where they were going to study as well. What was interesting with this, and I linked it back to my career journey, which started in the early 90s, British-born Asian, a woman, grew up in London, studied in London. I'm a radiographer by background as well. Some of the themes that captured today are very similar to some of the themes that I sort of entered when I entered and chose an AHP career I experienced as well. But what was interesting as well was in the early 90s when I chose to do radiography, a lot of individuals within my community linked it with radios. What do you want to do with radios was the question that I was asked. Today, again, when we look at allied health professions, there was a theme that came out as well, was some of the individuals in the community, as well as the family, don't know what an OT does not know what a dietitian does. So, and that recognition that was quite important to individuals who are studying their course. So as we go through our research, we would hopefully bring a little bit more light into some of the themes that were discussed today. Moving on from there, what we wanted to also do is to share the changing landscape of allied health professions, or the changing landscape of healthcare has always been continuum, and that has been a drive for change. Now, the student voice, the profession voice, when we talk about student voice, we can talk about it from an undergraduate perspective, we can talk about it from a postgraduate perspective as well. I mean, that voice has been important and long stemming within healthcare as well as education in various ways, whether it's been effectively taken in account or whether it's effectively recorded, that's a different sort of discussion. But that voice has recently very much so led to improvements, transformation, and a recognized engagement. And we need to recognize as well that there has been some work that has been ongoing with allied health professions in health education England, with some of the repair projects that have been going on, some of the changes and the developments such as recognitions of the support workers work that has been going on as well, and certain developments within our roles as professionals. Linking on from that, what we wanted to do, that the role of the allied health profession will continue change, it will continue sort of evolve, and there are several reasons for that as well, due to the needs for, and I'm just going to link it to global health and national health as we've just all encountered the pandemic. The healthcare education deliverables have been innovation. The innovation has continuously evolved, where we've looked at undergraduate, and now we are in a full steam of looking at apprenticeships, which is so different, and who accesses apprenticeships. Is it available to all is another question, that, and does the BME population also feel that that is something that they can access or they deserve, because that's something that also came about with because they're working on a job and how it's perceived as well from their family. There is an increased demand for an AHP career that we can all see throughout several research forums, discussions. And I think one of the key things that came about was creativity of studying a program, the new routes, the new opportunities, the new information that's all out there for students to access. One of the key things I just wanted to highlight, and this has been long stemming sort of information, is stakeholder initiatives. Stakeholder initiatives have been long stemming out there. And when I talk about stakeholders, it's not only been the universities who've actually gone out to the community, but it's also been some of the hospital sort of individuals, practitioners, marketing departments who have gone out to schools and colleges to promote allied health professions. The question is, as some of the themes that have been out there today, is were they really able to reach out to all? Now, with that, we wanted to sort of link into that. If I was a student and I applied to study an allied health profession course, whether within there, if I wanted to study radiography or dietetics, etc., there is an admissions process of interest. Now, what we wanted to also hone down in, and some of the discussions today with some of the students didn't have barriers, but when we look at it closely at the admissions process, of course, there's a UCAS form that you've got to fill in. There's an interview process, but there's a group or an individual interview. Some universities may have tests, visual spatial tests that you might have, an English test, etc. Are these barriers or are these mechanisms for retention in our profession? So those are questions that we can ask ourselves, is how can we sort of improve our practices? Alongside that was what the itch Anita's got, is looking at the UCAS information. And I think this as a group, we will be looking at it from a closer point of view, is looking at the course application conversion to a student application and looking at it closely in terms of what were the barriers to get in and what did you really need to do, and what were the mechanisms to get into the course fair. I'm sure they are fair, I'm sure they are aligned to NHS values, but is there something that we can do? Another thing that we would also sort of explore is if you are a student, when we look at the data, how many students convert to be an allied health professionals, to work in their professions. Are they satisfied with what they are signed up to do? And that links with some of the work that has already been done in sort of the public forum, sort of the retention, or was it because the initial career of doing medicine or dentistry, and you've just used the AHP sort of mechanism to continue to progress with that? One thing I did look into, and I did my research as if I wanted to study a AHP course. Now, what was interesting about this was if I knew what I was looking for, if I knew that what allied health profession was, it's fine. I can go and capture NHS careers where I can get an insight about any profession. I can look into other sort of websites as well, course websites, and it's quite visible there. So if I knew that I wanted to be an occupational therapist, the information was quite visible. And what I also found is some of the good practices which were out there. And thanks to our two collaborators here today, Brunel University and LSBU, which showing diversity on their websites and simultaneously giving that connectivity with the BME population to be able to identify themselves with that they can do the course, and there are other individuals from their community that are also part of the AHP population. So this was some of the good practice that I saw, but there were other differences as well that I also gathered, that not all platforms were sort of diverse as it is. So I'm just going to leave it there rather than opening it into sort of a controversial sort of discussion. But what I just wanted to show, there is good practices out there, and there are some elements of improvements for other stakeholders to do as well. Mentioning again, now I had to put it this way because that's the way I felt when I was actually looking into an AHP career as a student, as a prospective student. So I had to put all my other hats off of what I do for a living as a practitioner, as a radiographer. So as I said, that I was in a position that I wanted to do any career. I picked up all 15, and I thought, okay, I want to do OT. Where would I start? And I just put occupational therapy into the website, and bam, a whole floodgates of information. The question is, have you got too much information? The next question is, have we got the right information? The other question is there so much information that is out there? Is it being used effectively? And who is it being accessed with? So this is something that we will be looking at through our project. But one of the key things was that I did find was if I did ping into some of the courses, there wasn't a direct sort of link with that particular career, linking it straight to allied health professions. So if I wanted to study, for example, physiotherapy, it was an identity. Yes, you can study physiotherapy, and that is sort of your journey you would go. It didn't necessarily bring up that it is a makeup of allied health professions, and this is something that we could probably explore, whether individuals are aware of the makeup of allied health professions as a whole. Another thing I wanted to actually say was it was huge. And apart from the web, what we also had was several stakeholders from sort of several NHS hospitals to universities offering career information to other professional bodies and statutory bodies as well. So there was a lot of information on there. There was, as we just coming out of the pandemic, there was that recognition of allied health professions as NHS heroes as well. There was open days and taster days as well for individuals to access. So I just wanted to just give a flavour that there is work out there that is done, but what can we do differently is the question. Now, this is my last and least slide. As I was just summarizing, just some key directions of our research. It's the big questions we would like to leave you with. We do recognize and we do know that there's health inequalities within the UK. And one of the questions and some of the work that has been done with HEE is the question that we would like to leave you with is, does London AHP workforce represent its population demographics to address health inequalities? Because some of our students have highlighted they would like to help their community and they would like to sort of progress with certain elements with that. Another question that we would like to sort of leave you with is, what else can we do to promote AHP careers? What can we do differently? What can we do collectively? We would love to hear from you. We would like to work with you. As my colleague Eugene said, that feel free to put your questions, your interests, and connect with us through the community looping website. And thank you.
Thank you, Mira. So I'd just like to invite the researchers back if anyone would like to say anything before we do closing remarks. So Anita, anything from you?
Just to thank everybody for coming. And I think for me, the most important part of this project is to find out why people who were originally intending to choose an AHP career didn't pursue that. What stopped you from actually doing that? And I think that would tell us a lot of information about how we can do things differently. I think what's come through on the chat as well is reimagining how we target younger children and getting the idea into people's, planting the seed with young children and parents about AHP careers. So is it about donation of play equipment? Is it new Legos? Is it what do we do to get that idea across? And I think what's really come across from the students is, should HE be paying students to become the influencers of the future? Seems to have far, looking at your profiles, you seem to have quite a few hits. So, you know, perhaps it's again thinking differently, reimagining how we do things. Maybe this can be outsourced. Maybe we need influence. I'm really convinced that we need influencers. We need to start behaving like big companies, like they're marketing a product. We are marketing the HP family. So that's what I believe anyway. So, but I'll shut up now because I've got so many thoughts on this. But thank you to the students, front and centre of this. So thank you.
And Jarian?
Well, yes, you know, I just wanted to say thank you everybody for coming, you know, most of all to our students for sharing your experiences. Yeah. And that was very invaluable to hear, you know, where you're coming from, and just to know that, yes, you know, what you said does align with the research and obvious, yeah, and our own personal experiences as well as AHPs from, you know, Black and Asian communities and such. Yeah, so thank you very much. And of course, thank you very much to everybody else who's attended this call, you know, and who's here ready to learn and be a part of our project. Thank you for signing up to our community loop. I will put the link again in the chat. Yeah.
Excellent. Keelim, anything from you?
Yeah, as echoed by Anita and Joanne, I mean, we are very, very grateful for everyone attending today, in whichever capacity you're in. I think I would like to say is that we have a pretty tight deadline to carry out this project. And so we would appreciate whatever level you're at, whatever position you're at, that you please promote and support as much participation from people you have contact with, especially students, because students are key to a lot of the stuff that we're doing, to encourage them to engage in the different stages of the research process. And, you know, please, in any way that you can, irrespective of what background or diverse background you're from, I think please do be an ally and be supportive of not just the project, but actually the project is really, you know, it's the students that we're supporting. it's not the project. So I think in terms of for all our professional careers, I would really appreciate that support from all of you to make this happen. So thank you so much again.
And Mira?
Well, I would like to thank everyone, and I think I would actually like to sort of thank the PI, Anita Atwell, for her hard work in bringing us all together and recognizing everyone's sort of talent and contribution as we started this journey in September. And furthermore, I would like to also thank Health Education England and yourself, Tom, for your patience, for your drive, for understanding us, for accommodating us all the way through the journey as well. And of course, everybody else who is on the call as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Mira. And I also just want to say that it's brilliant to work and collaborate with these researchers who I know have long established, have done lots of research in the field of looking at diversity. I just want to also say that this is a call to action. So I racialize as a white man, and this is a call to action for those people that racialize as white or from a majority background to really get involved in this work, to support and amplify the voices of the researchers and those people from Black and ethnic minority backgrounds. So please stay in touch via the community looping and get involved as much as you can. It's really important that we amplify these voices and get this out there. So thank you. So I'd like to close the session there and stop the recording. And we look forward to engaging with you all over the coming weeks, months. So big thank you. Bye for now.
Bye. And, you know, well, yeah, if you haven't